Welcome to FM Unscripted, a podcast produced by the International Facility Management Association's FMJ magazine. I'm Andrea Sanchez, Chief Marketing Officer for IFMA and your host for the next couple of minutes. Today we explore the topic of asset management. I have the pleasure of interviewing Mike Stone. He is Product Manager of Enterprise Asset Management for Infor. Mike has more than 30 years of experience working with enterprise asset management, also known as EAM. He has led product management, development, and marketing for several commercial EAM systems and has applied EAM technology to a variety of industries. Welcome, Mike. Mike Stone, a pleasure having you today.
Great, glad to be here.
There's a great article on the March-April issue of the FMJ magazine, 5 Ways to Optimize Your FM Workforce with Technology. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I wanted to expand more on that, on that very important topic. So let's begin with a basic one. Where should FM start when assessing their organization's asset management strategy?
First of all, your asset management strategy has got to support your organization's business strategy. Effectively managing your assets, it means that every function in your organization has to work toward the same goal. So start by understanding your organization's goals and objectives and the strategy for achieving them, and then be sure that your asset management strategy and your program falls in line to fully support that. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether it's public sector, private sector, nonprofit, or something else. I mean, your asset management strategy and the programs have to support the organization's goals and objectives. And also, effective support for your asset management program has to come from the executives, and this is a must-have in order for facility managers to be successful. So you can go a long way to getting their support by making sure that your asset management strategy and your programs really align with their goals and strategy. And make sure they understand that and understand how it supports that strategy. By making them successful, facility managers have a great chance of being successful themselves.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense, and I'm glad you brought up that it's really, no matter what industry, it all begins with tying it back to your overall goal and strategy. So how can FMs use asset management software to help them communicate the importance of preventative maintenance at the executive level?
Well, I've seen many companies take the approach of it's not broke, then don't fix it, and a lot of executives will feel that way, but really that only results in short-term savings, and it really sets up increasing costs over time for repairs, because if you don't fix it up front when it's small, it's going to become a larger problem. And so with a good PM program, that could have been fixed. So a good PM program can actually save money by keeping your assets operating within their specifications, and that's done really through inspections, lubrication, replacing repair parts and filters, and it extends the life cycle of the assets, and it preserves the warranty. So just that alone, and going to the executives and saying, okay, this extends the life cycle and preserves warranties, and here's how it does it, through the inspections. And also the inspections can identify issues for correction really before they become problems, and this avoids costly repairs. Again, preventive maintenance is preventive, so you're preventing this cost. And so inspections also the eyes and ears in the operation. So as you're going through a PM inspection and the PM work's being done, you can also observe if anything else is happening around that. So using an asset management software solution, the facility managers can really produce reports for PM compliance, downtime trends. They can show whether the downtime is actually reducing or increasing, and then the follow-up work orders issued from inspection can be used to say, okay, here's what we've done to prevent these types of downtime, and keep the assets operating within their specifications. Also, we have sensor-based alerts. When a sensor comes in, we compare that to the thresholds, the upper limits, lower limits. If something is out of those limits, then we can initiate a work order to correct that. And also same thing with energy savings. We can put monitors on the assets and understand what energy is being consumed. And so if those things fall out of specification, we can then use that to further prove the value of the PM program by reducing the energy consumption as well as avoiding costly breakdowns by using these types of sensors. So remember, PM is preventative. Again, you're avoiding costly repairs through regular inspections and things of that nature.
Sounds like a win-win all around. Who doesn't want to extend their building's life cycle or save money? So it absolutely makes sense. So going back to your article in the March-April issue of FMJ, you recommend space planning as a means to improve move management, especially moves that involve multiple employees. So tell us more about how integrated workspace management software can help FMs manage relocation projects.
Space planning and move management, these are things that facility managers face every day, from simply knowing which workspaces are available at any particular time to handling reorganizations. Workspace management software can make that really easier. And by using CAD tools, such as a product we use called OpenCAD, integrated into the process, you can actually visualize the seating arrangements. You can get floor space calculations and charge that back to the tenants. You can understand estimates for floor coverings and stuff like that. Some organizations require specific allocations of floor space just based on the individual's role within their organization. And knowing which spaces meet those requirements can be tough without some visualization and some way to understand that. You can have printed floor plans and stuff like that, but then you got to manually measure those things. And these automated CAD drawings are best for that job. So getting a feed from your HR system can help by putting the names of the workspaces directly on the CAD drawings. So planning moves not only involves shifting individuals from one workspace to another, but it also requires space allocation based on the roles. And when you're looking at that, it can also involve what I call proximity requirements, because one organization may need to be closer or apart from another organization. And even within an organization, you have certain employees that need to be together or apart, depending upon the roles. So knowing where the employees sit really isn't enough. So in planning these workspace moves, the facility managers also need to identify what's in those workspaces. This is the equipment and the furnishings, so they can actually plan the appropriate effort and the cost for the move. So to save time in surveying moves, your modern workspace software, it records the equipment and the furnishings by workspace and individual, so that information is readily available when you need it for the move. Now, we view move plans as planned work orders, where the organizations and individuals are specified. The system brings in the floor space, brings in the equipment, the furnishings, and creates a scope of work. So then the work orders can be estimated, even send them out to contractors for bids if you wish. And then when the cost is estimated, the work orders can be approved and then issued for executing. So we have a complete record of everything from planning to estimating to approvals and execution. And then as the moves are executed, key management software can be triggered to issue keys and track employee access, as well as changing locks and removing access to the former workspace. So using an integrated workspace software solution, it really can help facility managers plan, estimate, approve, execute the work orders, and it also ties into capital budgets for renovations and new construction very well. So this software is very valuable for facility managers.
Wow, we certainly live in an exciting time, and we've come a long way with our industry that all these amazing resources are available, and we truly can plan the workspace the right way. So when talking about moves, whether an organization is large or small, these new tech implementation projects can be quite stressful and have their hurdles. So how do you, from your experience, what words of wisdom would you give facility professionals on how to manage organizational expectations caused by these changes?
Well, communication and more communication. You can't over-communicate. It's really the best medicine for change fatigue before you do any project. Facility managers really do need to clearly communicate what the project's all about, why it's being done, what are the expected benefits. And they should clearly communicate the project schedule and the anticipated impact on the organization. It always helps to create some excitement about these projects. For example, if a new asset management system is being implemented, facility managers need to clearly communicate when it starts and how long is it going to be, along with the benefits and the impact on the organization. Who's going to be involved? Who has to do what? Give an example of impact. Let's just say a new application being made available for smartphones, where individuals can take a picture, they can report the situations needing attention. So they should highlight the fact that they don't have to log into a system. They don't have to contact the call center anymore. They don't have to do anything else. Just take a picture, put in what it is, and they already have their user information in the smartphone and stuff like that, and then just push the button and report it. So that generates some excitement. So then they should indicate when to expect this feature will be available and how easy it is to use. And don't forget that communication during the project is critical, not only just to keep the stakeholders current, but also inform the overall organization of where you are. So if you implement a solution with a modern consumer-grade interface that's a pleasure to use, it really will quickly promote user adoption. So communication is the key to all of this.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you clarified that there's all sorts of communications in different phases. During the process is just as important as after. So you mentioned the use of these smartphones and what we can do with our smartphones, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, technology is just changing the way we work, and FM is no exception. So what are some other most impactful technological shifts in the industry that you're aware of?
Wow, we're in the middle of a revolution. I think one of the most impactful technology shifts in the industry today is what we call the Internet of Things. Sensors are much more affordable now, and with the internet communications advancing so much and so rapidly, we now have the ability to identify issues much faster than ever before, which allows us to correct these things much earlier in the process. It's a lot more than just bringing in sensor data and setting upper and lower limits like I talked about earlier. We've been doing that since about 2002. What we're seeing now is advanced engineering analytics, and these can quickly analyze what's going on and analyze what we call big data to identify these issues occurring that alarm thresholds simply can't detect. Now, I use the term big data. What this is the accumulation of sensor data over time. Just to give you an example, if you have one sensor and you get one reading every second, that'll produce over 86,000 records in one day.
Wow.
So think of the volume of data you would have generated by many sensors through a facility.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you might not need a reading every second. Maybe it's every minute or every 10 minutes, whatever it is. But the point is that these sensors generate a tremendous amount of data. And we need the advanced analytics to make sense of it all and to identify and communicate the issues quickly. And these issues are happening in between thresholds. So these analytics can identify very, very early on that an asset is starting to degrade before it actually starts degrading to the point where it impacts the organization. And also coupled with the Internet of Things is what we call machine learning. Now, this is where we have computers with artificial intelligence that can learn without being programmed for every situation.
Wow.
These computers monitor your critical assets, and they continually learn about their operations, so you don't have to program. This means that we should be able to get much better information faster. I mean, for example, we should be able to understand the risk in terms of predicting the time left of an asset before the performance degrades and the time left before it will fail. I mean, we haven't had that before. We should now be able to understand which components are involved and what their status is. And with this type of information, we're coupled with an advanced asset management solution, facility managers can make more informed decisions, including repairs and the timing of repairs. If you knew that for instance, this particular boiler feed water pump was degrading, but it was going to take it 2 days before it failed, or 2 days before it impacted your organization, you could plan appropriately with that. But if you didn't have that information, you really couldn't plan appropriately. So this is not going to replace the need for planning your work, but it's going to make it easier by having the parts identified by the system. Also, the world is moving to mobile technologies with smartphones and tablets, and solutions on these devices are really becoming more and more prevalent because of their ease of use, their connectivity, their portability, and just overall convenience. And solutions such as our Infor EAM mobile products can also operate whether they're connected to the server or not. So this is very important capability. So I believe these new technologies are the most important innovations for facilities management in a long time. Now, as for challenges, just managing the big data is a challenge since you're dealing with such a volume of records. Integrated mobility, getting these tablets and smartphones and these capabilities effectively integrated into the facility management operation is a challenge, because you have to get the people trained. You've got to make sure they understand how to use it, what the benefits are. You talk about security and privacy. That's a challenge, because so much of your data is going to be stored in the cloud, and communications are going over the internet. So making sure you got the right security and privacy safeguards in place is a challenge. So I believe that these challenges can be met, and the benefits that we're talking about can be realized if we approach this Internet of Things with the machine learning and everything with a really good project plan that addresses them and it works to minimize their impacts, as well as working with solid partners who are experienced in that technology. So you've got to understand it and then plan for addressing it.
So lastly, you started to mention about the solutions that Infor creates for an array of industries, from aerospace to defense to retail. But if there's one foundational solution or service that you would recommend, what would that be?
Well, we as Infor, we provide a cloud-based facility management solution. We call it Infor Cloud Suite Facility Management. The solution is specifically designed for facility management. It combines a variety of capabilities, including maintenance, call center operations, OpenCAD for visualization, mobile support for tablets and smartphones. It also processes sensor input. It includes alert management, key management, space management, move management, asset reservations, and a whole lot more capabilities. Again, we can integrate the sensor input, integrate with the Internet of Things, and again, it's a cloud-based solution specifically designed for facility management. So you don't have to worry about computer hardware or support. And in this solution, we've pre-configured 14 separate roles for facility management, including workflow for each role. So it can be very rapidly implemented, and it addresses roles such as the facility executive, the facility manager, contractors, technicians, call center, inventory, procurement, roles like that. And again, space planners and inspectors. And really, our customers are experiencing about a 50% reduction in maintenance costs, and up to about a 20% reduction in energy costs. So energy costs being a major component of facility cost in operations. So, and you can learn a lot more about that on our website at infor.com.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Those are great accomplishments. And thank you so much for all that you do for the profession and for IFMA.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate the time to speak.
To learn more about the topic discussed today, go to ifma.org and refer to the March-April 2017 issue of FMJ Magazine. Also check out Infor's website at www.infor.com. Infor is among IFMA's prestigious Silver Corporate Sustaining Partners. Thanks to Mike and his team for all that they do for the FM industry. And thank you for tuning in.